it's both like a blessing and a curse. When you have your own company, you do everything.
Correct.
It runs on you. So if you're not doing stuff, it's not going to work. And so like that's where like the trick about building a team and delegating and really becoming an owner versus being someone that's working in the business is like, it's a pretty big jump that's I've been working on, struggling with / evolving through over the past probably 3-4 months.
All right, guys. It's Jake here, Warren Mounts Agency, yellow colored glasses. We have an amazing guest on today. But before we do that, we're going to start off with our review. Review. Okay,
review.
So Darla M., she has left us a review, and she says, I really did not want to switch my insurance around because I thought it would be a huge paperwork hassle. Warren Mounts Agency made the transition seamless. I did not really know what the coverage was. They explained every detail that I have. I ended up with better coverage, less cost. Wow, exclamation mark. I am extremely satisfied with their exceptional service as well. Thank you, Darla M., for the amazing review. Reviews, we know, go a long ways. There we go. Look at the claps. Michaela's going to be happy with me using the filters on our whatever it is. Okay. So the review is done. So now, guys, so we have a special guest, Francis.
I'm the one.
Francis. What is it? Is it your last name really Darko?
It is, yes. That's my last name, yeah.
Dude, I said it out there.
My parents got it from the movie.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding, no.
Okay, so Francis Darko.
Yes.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
So we have a special guest, Francis Darko. So Francis, me and Francis have known each other for, what, 6, 7, 8 years?
Yeah,
I mean,
through mutual friends.
Yeah. I don't think we've really connected a whole lot until probably the last 4 or 5. Maybe?
Yeah, I'd say I don't know if it was supposed to be the bachelor party. Yeah. The Vegas bachelor party was probably where
we had a Vegas bachelor. Yep.
We connected the bows.
So yeah, that's how me and Francis know each other. So Francis is actually he does a lot of really cool things, you guys. He has taken some big risk, in my opinion, and he's done it pretty organically. He doesn't seem like it fazed him at all with the stuff that he does. So he owns, and I'm going to let him talk about this a little bit, but he owns he owns a company that has a bunch of Airbnb arbitrage properties. He used to be a local guy here in Kansas City. He uplifted and went down to Florida, and I'll let you guys uplifted and just whack. Dipped out. Which I actually want to know why. Like what made that?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I appreciate you. Miami was just calling my name. Mm-hmm. So it was really just kind of the time in your life whenever you think, well, I could do for a change, mm-hmm. right? I need to step out. I need to take the next step, whatever that is, right? And I felt like I needed to level up. And to level up, you got to do something drastic, right? So, the famous quote, one of my favorite quotes is, you're not going to get the things that you want unless you become the person that gets those things, right? So that means you have to evolve. You have to change. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what cities can I go to? I love Scottsdale. Mm-hmm. I love New York. And then, I went to visit Miami a few years ago, and I was like, I think this just might be the one. Like, it's just...
So did you know anybody down there?
I didn't know it. Okay, I had a friend that had moved down there, 2 friends from KC that had moved down there prior. But besides that, I didn't know anyone. And even whenever I moved down there, that friend ended up leaving. So it still ended up being like... just me. Yeah. It's nice though, bro. Miami's awesome, bro. I've always said Miami's about 3 things. Okay, Get this. Miami's about fun.
I've heard this before.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah, you told me this in August.
I did. Okay, yeah. Dude, Miami's about fun. Mm-hmm. Everyone's trying to have a good time. Mm-hmm. Fitness. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in the gym, bro. Mm-hmm. 7 p.m. because it's a beach city, bro. Everyone's in the gym.
You don't got clothes on.
If you're not fit, if you walk around fat in Miami, like you just feel bad about yourself. Like legit, you don't want to do it. Okay. So it's about fun, mm-hmm. it's about fitness, and it's about finances. Mm-hmm. Everyone's trying to get to the bag, bro. Yep. And it's great, like hustle culture down there.
And that's like I saw a video the other day, and it said, everybody says like they have their basically things that they need to take care of to be successful in life or whatever that success looks like. And the very first thing was, everybody talks about being mentally clear.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you cannot be mentally clear if you are not in shape. Right?
That's fair.
Because you're not pushing yourself, you're not feeling good about yourself. So
Exactly.
you have to do something to get active just to feel good, and then the clear mental space will be happen, and then you'll be able to excel. Do well in business, which will lead over to the family life.
Yeah.
And all these other little things but it all starts with taking care of yourself.
It really does, bro. It's one of those like how you do one thing is how you do everything. Right. When you get that gym habit, you learn that taking care of yourself feels good. And so then you end up taking care of your business. You end up taking care of your family. You end up taking care of it. Trickles down into becomes your personality.
Yep.
So
I've always thought like a guy who's got some big ass legs on him. I know that sounds weird, but some big old thighs.
Tree trunks.
Dude, got big old tree trunks. That guy, he's a hard worker because
he doesn't skip leg day.
Yeah, he doesn't skip leg day. I mean, if you're ever looking for
Dude, I did leg day today, actually.
That's a hard thing.
It was a wimpy day.
It's not something that we get jacked up about.
Yeah, it's true. It's easy to skip. Yeah. I don't know why. It's maybe because you don't see the gains.
Correct.
Right? You don't see it like doing anything to your body. You're like
think about that. If you see a guy with some big old tree trunks, especially if he might not be the biggest guy, he's like, man, that guy, he works his legs out.
You know what, bro? That might be a really good tell. I think I never thought about it like that, but that might be a really good tell as to how.
If a guy's disciplined with working out his legs, he's going to be disciplined in everything else in his life. Not always, but I would say that the chances are more likely than not.
You're onto something, bro. You are.
Anyways, okay, so that's cool. So you moved to Miami. So how's that going?
I like it. So best part of Miami, you wake up, you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to think, well, should I put. Yeah, it's sunny outside. I don't need to. Should I put a jacket? No, I don't need a jacket. What should my routine?
Should you get an umbrella?
Should I get an umbrella?
It's cold as shit outside.
Dude,
it's raining.
It's so nice. Every day you wake up, you put on shorts, throw on some athleisure, and go for a walk with my dog. I got a park. I'm downtown, right?
Okay.
So I got this huge park, like probably 2 blocks from my place.
Okay.
So we'll walk over there every morning and take in the sun. Like, it's therapeutic, bro. Yeah. The sun is literally therapeutic. I've been here for 2 weeks. I got sick last week. I haven't gotten sick in 8 months, bro. I'm not kidding, bro. I've been in Kansas City. It's been gloomy and 20 degrees for 2 weeks.
And it's been actually kind of sunny. Like, I've seen more sun since you've been here in Kansas City than I have probably 3 months prior.
I had to bring some, bro. I was like, I had to ask God to open up the skies.
Bring it with me, baby.
I'm like, this, I can't, bro. So
no, dude, you're right. Like, we literally talked, because it has actually been sunny here.
Yeah.
Like the past 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
It hasn't been bad. And, the new year, like on our side, we're not going to talk about us a whole lot, but on our side, like December and November, everybody's, we're doing planning for the upcoming year. And everybody's not really talking about insurance. And, the vibe and the energy in the office is like, okay, let's just get this rolling, right? Like get out of this year so we can get to go into January.
Facts.
And now come January, we're rocking and rolling. And the sun has been out, and I'm like, gosh, I don't know if it's a new Europe or it's the sun. And I really think in the back of my head, I'm like, it's got to be the sun.
Yeah.
Because, dude, it's just another day.
It's
but this sun, man, it's legit.
So, it does something to your soul, bro, and the warmth. And, it's been cool down there. I like it.
So I guess let's just talk about that. What does your day look like? I mean, and then go into what you're doing, with your company and everything, and kind of explain a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But what does your day look like? Like, I'm actually very intrigued about that, because your job allows you to be really very free.
Flexible.
Very free and flexible. And that is hard, because if you're not disciplined, you can get very content and lazy, and then it just kind of starts gradually going. So, but you moved to Miami. And Miami's not cheaper living than KC, so what you need to do is you need to be making more.
Exactly.
But you have more time. So what does that look like?
Yeah. No, those are very good observations. That's exactly what it's like. So I'm free every morning. I built my routine like I wake up 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Go to the gym. By 7:30, I'm in the gym. Right. Do my hour at the gym.
Appreciate you, bro. I mean,
yes.
I think I might be able to tell you,
I appreciate you, bro. So I go to the gym, do my hour at the gym, then I go out with my dog, take her out for a walk. We usually at the park for about 45 minutes or so. Then I'm back home. by about 9 o'clock, I'm on my laptop doing admin stuff. Okay. And it's always, that's been one of the trickiest things as the business has grown, is that the level of things that I'm doing every day is just exponentially. It's hit this curve that's just, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of admin stuff. I'll do that for a while. And then I'll usually do, if I have like any meetings or anything, I usually push those to about early afternoon. Okay. And then obviously I do my lunch and I just work like that's all I do. Yeah. So, and that carries on until the evening. Because it's both like a blessing and a curse. When you have your own company, you do everything. Correct. It runs on you. So if you're not doing stuff, it's not going to work. And so like that's where like the trick about building a team and delegating and really becoming an owner versus being someone that's working in the business is like, it's a pretty big jump that's I've been working on, struggling with / evolving through over the past probably 3-4 months. Okay. That part of the entrepreneurial journey. Yeah.
Because you got to start, this is kind of how I look at it, and you tell me what you think. You got to start inside the business, right? You got to get a good process down, so you can almost say, okay, there's a good process, this is working. Now let's get someone in here to handle that process. And then you go check box for me. And then I'm like, okay, now let's go to this next box and let's get a good process system down for that. Bam, check it. And then you get all these processes and systems down, right? Yeah. And you get out, because then that's when you have everything set in place, right? And then you get out and you start working on the business versus in it, and then you scale.
So here's what happens when you're not a detail-oriented person, or you're not good at creating SOPs, or you're not even really just good at letting go of something that you've been doing, of control. It becomes a struggle, and I think every entrepreneur goes through it. Like 100%. Some people are just naturally good at like, yes, this is the system, you do this. They're good at building teams and doing that. And some people, it's a harder part of the journey for them. So like, it's so essential to create that SOP, to create that system that somebody else that you find value in can plug in, do the work at the same standard or even better than you are doing it, and really be able to scale the company. Because that's the thing. Like, as you scale, you start doing everything. You figure out you can't do everything. You're not even good at doing everything. And while you're in the middle of doing all that stuff, the real revenue generating activities that you're supposed to be doing are falling by the wayside. You're doing way too much in between stuff. So
you're trying to do it all. I mean, you're just kind of like a jack of all trades, but an expert at none.
Right.
So like we talk about like I suck at a lot of things, but there's probably 1 or 2 good things that I'm very good at. Yeah. And what you just kind of said, like I feel like it hits home with a lot of things, like the control. Like there's so many things that might be really easy for somebody else, but maybe for you or maybe me, which the control of I think I could probably do it better than that person. Right. Yeah. But it's like, it's not about that. It just needs, you need to be better with creating that process and system where it can be trainable.
Exactly.
And then you focus on literally 1 or 2 things that you're really, really good at, and all the weaknesses, don't even try to get better at those. Right. Like, hire somebody to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, is that how it is? Like, with yours?
Yeah, that's how it is. So just yesterday, like, as we've scaled, so one of the processes that we just changed, as we've scaled, I guess maybe I should talk about what the business is.
I was going to say, let's before we get, explain that. I would love, let's explain what you're doing.
For sure. So right now, the business that we're talking about right now is a short-term rental company. Okay. Right. The name of the company is Your KC Host. We have Airbnb arbitrage properties, which I'll explain what that is, and we have managed properties, all come together in this portfolio of cozy, comfortable apartments downtown Kansas City. All right, so that's our offering. We offer short-term housing downtown Kansas City for anyone coming to the city for any length of time, really, but we primarily do short-term. Okay. So we started off about 3 years ago, and I started doing the Airbnb arbitrage model, right, which is where you rent a property and then you Airbnb it. Obviously, you get permission from the landlord and all that stuff, but that's the thing. You don't buy places. You rent. Okay. I got 13 of those. And then I've had a few people reach out to me and say, hey, we see you're doing well, XYZ. We're in the Airbnb business, but we don't know what we're doing. So if you want to just take over our units or manage our units for us, we'll pay your percentage. And so then I started doing the management model as well. And that's been pretty much more recent.
Is that like a co-hosting? Is that
essentially? Yeah,
okay.
it's co-hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's there. I might be involved in the design process of creating the listings and all of that, but it's their capital working, and I'm just running and getting it booked. It's almost like a booking fee, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got 10 of those. So we've got 23 properties total right now downtown. Hopefully we'll get up to 40 by the end of the year.
That sound, I don't know if you guys heard it or not, that was an Airbnb sound.
It was.
That's awesome. I've heard that sound. Yep.
Nonstop.
No, that's cool. And that's actually, I know we've talked about this before a little bit, and, I think you actually might have been the one that introduced me into the arbitrage stuff. I don't know, but either way, I know we've talked about it at some point. And it's genius because there's just, I don't know. I mean, why do you like that so much? Like, why? Like, I don't want to get off the topic of what we were about to get on.
You're good.
But what does the future hold? Like, is your goal to continue to collect more? Are you going to grab some of that and then start buying using that money to buy assets with it? Or what do you think is the best way of that? Moving forward is, and what's your plan with that?
Sure. Yeah, I've got a few angles right now. The main goal right now is tightening up. I call it tightening up the company. Okay. Right. Okay. We've got some loose processes, some loose things happening here and there. All those need to get tightened up. Okay. Once those are tightened up, we're adding more clients, more management clients, because it'll allow me to scale faster. Yep. Right. We're trying to get to 40 branded properties downtown KC. Okay. If we can get 40 units downtown, that's a pretty sizable company. All under the Your KC Host umbrella, which means that we have our own customers. We're not reliant on Airbnb. We're not reliant on VRBO. We're not reliant on Booking.com. We have, yes, we're on those platforms, correct. But we also have our own list of 3,000, 5,000 people that have stayed with us that we can call on to rebook with us at any time. So with that comes the ability to value the company at a certain level. Right? If we have loyal customers that are going to come back and book with us every year, we can value the company, in the millions of dollars. And with a good valuation, we'll see if I'm able to close it and sell it. Yeah.
Which I'm sure is definitely a thing. Like, I haven't even, honestly, everything you just talked about, the repeats, right? Like, when you have a database like that, I mean, you can just jump on the phones with that? Or
we have email marketing going on. Yeah, so we have an email list.
So it's an ongoing thing.
Yes, so every month, we're going to switch it up a little bit and get a little bit more aggressive with it. But every month, people are getting emails. Thanks for staying at Your KC Host. Next time you're coming back to Kansas City, the copy is different each time. But next time you're coming back to city, make sure and book with us. Repeat guests get 5% off. And a lot of people repeat. Most of the travelers that come to Kansas City are regional travelers. They're just coming to IKEA for the weekend. Literally.
That is.
We got couples from Colombia that just need a getaway. There's a lot of repeat guests. And so if you can just get them to stay with you again, you have a pretty good way to make it through, especially with the shifting market conditions in Airbnb right now.
Well, and then also the consistency of it. If you had a good experience the first time, and you're not going, because you're well, it's just kind of same in mine, because we have an Airbnb as well. It's just one, but dude, I haven't never thought of it that way. Because you got to think, your clientele, I'm assuming, like what you've talked about, are either, like you said, repeat. They're coming in. They're not coming to KC for a vacation, right? So it's not like they're there one and done.
Yeah,
they could be repeats
easily,
right?
Easily.
And there's just usually one. I'm assuming most of your units are 1 to 2 bedrooms.
1, 2 bedrooms, yeah, a couple 3-bedroom spots, but yeah, mostly one and 2 bedrooms.
Is that where you like? Is that kind of like what you look for?
Yeah, so the 1-bedrooms and the studios really have the best margin.
They have the best ROI.
They have the best ROI, the cheapest and the most number. There's the most number of them, but let me phrase this one. They get the most traffic, I guess. Okay. It's easier for people to travel in 2s than it is to travel in 4s, 6s, 8s, or whatever. So you just get way more volume of people coming to town. My most profitable property by percentage is the second unit I ever got. It's a studio in the River Market. Okay. And now it's done up real nice. It's brick, it's got that unique feel. People like that industrial feel, but it's tiny. consistent. I mean, in the summer we're doing $4,000 a month on this 600 square foot, not even, maybe 500 square foot studio. You know,
Dude,
so
that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I didn't even think about that. Like, because in the clientele, that just makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like, I'll say that's the difference between having an Airbnb, a couple Airbnbs, or having an Airbnb and having a short-term rental company.
Correct.
They are
totally different.
The jump is like it's insane.
Because our property does well. Like it'll produce 60K a year, and it's a good extra little stream of income.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Now I'd say 50-60% is going towards mortgage and all this other stuff, right? And then you have the appreciation. So but there's no way I could handle that much and still work a full-time job or it be a side gig.
Yeah, no.
Like there's not a side gig. So that's why I was intrigued about like having you on one, because I was interested to know like what does that look like? Like I bet your phone does blow up but that makes total sense. Like you literally run that, like that's almost like I could make an argument that's somewhat like you could run that like an insurance company, right? Like, I mean, it's residual type stuff if you get with the right type of group of people, not necessarily guaranteed residual, but I mean, they're coming back on it. If they have a work thing every year at this time, they're going to come back.
Yeah. We've got a lady right now whose son is training with Sporting KC. Okay. And she whatever the training schedule is, she's coming back in town every 2 weeks for the next 3 months. For the next 4 months, actually. So she's staying with us she's like, okay, well, we'll just book it. The only reason I can do that is because we have a direct booking platform. If she goes back to Airbnb, she's paying fees every single time. But since she just can book directly with us on your KC host, she can save money. We can make more money.
Okay.
And she's already stayed in the place, so she has the consistency of, okay, well, if this place is good, even if this place isn't available, there's another place that she can stay at, right? So her needs are met, our needs are met, and that's the type of person that.
Are we able to put the link on here?
Yeah, for sure.
Where everybody can go in there?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. If you have somebody coming to Kansas City, or if you want to get downtown, maybe you want to catch a Chiefs game or something, and then you want to be closer to the stadium, easily check out yourkchost.com and just click book, and all the listings will come up.
Because Airbnb and VRBO, they charge a lot of fees.
They do.
Okay, and
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so we can go to your website or your this link, and maybe not pay as much in fees.
You won't pay as much, but you'll pay some fees.
You'll pay some. No, everybody's got to get paid.
Yeah.
But it won't be as much.
It won't be as much. That's facts.
And it's more profitable for you.
Yes.
And it's more profitable for the guest.
Correct.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah. That's like, it's interesting because like whenever you're building these direct booking, even on VRBO, it's a technical thing, but even on VRBO, whenever you set up, it's called an API integration.
Okay.
You integrate your VRBO properties with your property management software, so you can control the pricing and you can control other stuff.
And for the people listening, you basically go into your system, update it on one, and then it shoots out to all of them. Right?
Exactly. Okay. Correct. Yes. So whenever you do that, VRBO doesn't let you do payments through their site anymore. So now you have to set up your own payment processor, which comes with a whole host of issues, bro. A whole host of issues.
Do you have to get a finance company for that, or what is?
So I'm using Stripe. Stripe is our processor.
Okay.
They're very popular, but the payment processor essentially just means you can take credit card payments, right? But that means that if somebody cancels, it's now the refund is now coming through your processor. It's not something that you just tell Airbnb to handle, right? If there's any discrepancies, we had a fraudulent person book with somebody else's credit card, and that got recalled. And so like you're dealing with these things in-house now. It's not just let me set up my listing and then they are doing all this
for you.
The back office is you. You're the back office, right? So it's
Dude, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like it's way more complex than what you and you hit it on the point, man. I mean, like it's different between having 1, 2, maybe 3 Airbnb properties and then running a short-term rental company. Because there's a lot of other things, and I know me and you have talked about this a little bit about getting in with insurance companies. Did you have any luck with that?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude,
the management software that I use actually offers insurance. This is great since we're in an insurance.
Yeah,
this is an insurance
cool.
podcast.
Yeah,
We can talk about
basically,
insurance.
Yeah.
So this is how I protect the listings. One, you got general liability insurance for my company, right? Francis Darko LLC, covered in case we get sued or whatever. Two, there's a deposit. We charge a hold on everybody's credit card whenever they book with us.
Okay.
So that's just for like smaller things. You know, it's a $300 hold.
Okay.
But that's just an extra layer of security for us. Then we have $1,500 of rented insurance and $1 million of liability insurance. That's an extra $25 per booking that we pay for, right? So that's really what covers the $1,500 covers like damages if someone was to damage a TV or something. It's up to that, and then the $1 million liability is if like some serious stuff, like somebody like died or something. Yeah, right. So those are the coverages that I'm doing right now. We haven't really had to use them yet. I mean,
Knock on wood.
it's going to happen. Like that's just, I've talked to some other hosts that have like 30, 40, 50 plus properties. They're like, it's not if, it's when. Like,
Correct.
because you're dealing with people, you know, they're coming in at all kinds of,
basis,
all kinds of stuff's happening. So yeah, that's the insurance side of it.
Dude, I honestly, just to be upfront, like I thought, you know, you go and get a property, you get the landlord's blessing to say, yeah, we'll do this Airbnb, maybe you pay him extra money. Okay, that's great. Now you put it on Airbnb and all these websites, you go out and you just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And it's all done.
Piece of cake.
It's easy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you
not
just-
easy,
I wake
but now
up
you're
and-
responding and
Yeah, piece of cake. No.
So okay. So we've talked about a lot of the in-depth there. So what does it look like from Florida? Like, are you going to try and get some stuff down there? It is profitable down there?
We'll
What does that look
see.
like?
Yeah, so the Florida's a different beast,
I know.
bro. Like here's another rule in Florida: do as much as you can get away with. That is the Miami. Just if it's driving or business, whatever it is, do as much as you can get away with.
it until they tell you no.
That's exactly. So the legislation in Miami-Dade, like downtown Miami, is
None.
no Airbnbs allowed. Ask me how many Airbnbs there are in downtown Miami.
It's very complex
There's
and complicated.
10,000 plus listings downtown Miami right now. I'm like, dude, this is.
Dude, I've looked at like because we have one out in Arizona, you know. So
Yeah.
I've looked at the different markets and I look at the legislations and the laws and the you know the city expectations with their permits and
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, and it says Miami is hard. But then I look at other places, it's very profitable. And I'm
Bro, I know people pulling just racks per month. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, I've got 15. I'm like, you've got 15 and you're just setting up your business illegally? And they're like, I mean, it's illegal, but like the security guards at the apartments don't care. And, you know, the leasing office kind of knows about it. And I'm like, what? That's like,
Dude, that's
for me,
crazy.
that's stressful. I can't,
Oh, I know.
it's,
that would be very stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Especially, you know, if you live there, right? I mean, what do you do? I mean, I guess if they shut you down, you're still down there. But
yeah.
I guess you could live there.
I guess I'd be still tied in with a lease.
That's what I'm saying.
If-
I guess
yeah,
you could,
if
you could just live in that one.
If I only had one.
Yeah.
If I have like 5, then I'm screwed.
That's a variable I don't know if I want to touch.
Yeah, I don't know. But Fort Lauderdale looks good to me. I also would like to not get the Miami party crowd.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
I mean, even if I did have one, I try to not get like guests because people are. It's different than
smaller,
here,
okay.
right? It's people are going there to
business.
party.
You're talking about Miami.
Miami,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So the nature of the guest is already one that cares less. They don't care as much about your property. They don't. They're just there to have a good time, and so
makes
your
sense.
place is collateral essentially. Like,
Literally. You have a bunch of Dash Hudsons coming through.
Exactly.
I don't know if anybody knows Dash, but good dude.
yeah, good guy.
Sometimes a liability.
Yeah,
He texted
so
me today,
sometimes a
say-
liability.
He texted me today, say he broke his wrist.
They get.
He said Warren Mounts.
He broke his wrist
He literally texted me. He said, "Does Warren Mounts Agency cover broken wrist?"
after the fact.
Word for word. Let's just read it out loud.
Dude, that's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, he said, "I broke my wrist. Does Warren Mounts cover that?" He didn't break his wrist. Anyways,
That's comedy, bro. That's funny.
dude, that's cool.
So I want to ask you about because this agency, you guys have been in business for how long?
So we've been in business about 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've gone through the grassroots of businesses and like starting all the just all the headaches of starting a business. Like, How do you find your team? They're good? You rely on them?
Yeah,
you trust
man.
them?
I mean, everything you said at the very beginning with the control and all of those things is a legit thing. I feel like anybody and everybody, if they don't say they don't struggle with it, they're completely lying.
Yeah.
Right. So,
right.
Man, I started with State Farm. I mean, really, everybody else has different backgrounds. My wife has a hygiene background, dental hygiene background. The Mounces have teaching backgrounds.
Yeah.
She's actually from insurance. She was with another broker. Caleb, he dropped out of engineering school to be doing this full time with all of our trucking stuff. So everybody has their different backgrounds, and ultimately, man, I guess long story short is really everybody has their niches with it.
Right. Yeah.
Like insurance is one thing. Insurance is kind of complicated. It can be, but once you get it, you got it.
Right.
Like you get it takes about a year or two for someone to really get it, and then you can, not saying you can't learn more, but you get a good base.
Right.
But everything we're doing, and this kind of goes with you. Like, I mean, we have our podcast. We're rocking out. I feel like our social media game is insane, and if you have a good sales process, good sales techniques with everybody in the office, at the same time bringing in the clients, right? You got someone bringing clients in, right?
Okay.
If you're not bringing clients in, you're not closing them, right? You're just bringing them in.
Where does that lead generation look? Where does that come from?
So one, we're working a lot of people that I've worked with in the past. Because I've been in insurance for like 10 years. That's a big, pretty organic.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
You have your net. Everybody's got their base of all their network that they've all known. Everybody has 6 different networks in here, right?
Yeah.
So we're working those. Right now, that's pretty much what we're doing organically, and then we're hitting our marketing, we're hitting everything on that. So we have leads coming in with Google and all that other stuff.
Nice.
And then on the trucking side, we have a couple different lead generators that we do, and we just call.
Okay.
Like we hit the phones on that and cold call, but that's in 33 states, so that's a different.
Yeah.
Dude, at the end of the day, man, like it's everything you just said at the beginning. I suck at so much stuff. There's so many things I suck at, but there are people that you're around, right, are good at.
Yeah.
Like everybody has their things that they're good at, and the control, right, knowing that. You might be the expert in one little category, but the day that you're the expert in all of them means you're sitting at the wrong table.
Exactly.
And I would assume that's probably why you got out of KC, and there's nothing wrong with that, but to kind of challenge yourself and get a little uncomfortable. And
absolutely. Yeah. Get around those people that are doing the stuff.
Yeah. And that's all it is, man. Like you can hang around. I mean, I think we all know this. Like you can hang around with people that are doing the same thing, and you're going to continue to do the same thing. Yeah. It's not that hard to really make a lot of money or to be more successful or to do anything. It's just the want. Yeah. If you want to do it, go do it. It's easy.
And the belief. And that belief comes from seeing the guy that you go to the gym with every day actually closed a $2 million deal last week. And you're like,
and he's just another normal dude.
He's just a guy. Right,
like
I know half the stuff he knows. Like he's just a guy. So once you get around those people, that's one of the benefits of Miami, bro. Bro, every morning you wake up. I told you I walk with my dog every morning. 6 Lamborghinis drive by, a Royce, 10 of the baddest women you've ever seen just walking down the street. Yeah, like it's just, there's so much just money. Like there's a yacht driving by with French Montana, and there's a helicopter that just dropped off DJ Khaled, and it's like, what's going on right now? Like, why is there just money just floating around? Like, it's crazy, bro.
It's legit, and like, not to go back on the insurance, but so we're involved on Worn Amounts. We're involved with some other brokers, and I used to think. A broker is a different ballgame than being an insurance agent. Okay, because if you're a State Farm agent or American Family or Farmers, nothing against those guys. They do a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of things you got to go to do that. But you have that company that's kind of outlining the blueprint, and you just walk in and you do it. Right? They have the systems down. They have how you're supposed to do this, how you're supposed to do that. Yeah. And then they have their products. And that's all, you have to just know their product.
Which I will never underestimate again.
No. Yeah. So that's one thing. Now you put on a broker and you put 50 carriers and you don't have any systems that any of these carriers tell you. They say, here, if we're going to give you a contract, why do we give you a contract? Right. Well, you give us a contract because X, Y, and Z. Okay, here's your contract. Now, how do you manage those customers? How do you have your CRM? How do you have your track? I mean, notes-wise, E&O, all these other things that you just don't really think about. And if I would have probably known all those things, it would have been very intimidating. So the other part that I think anybody who's listening to this is like, and not to get all freaking, I know this is all cliche and you could probably hear this from another bunch of other fucking podcasts, but don't fucking figure it all out. Just make the jump, which is, I think, is what you've done. I really think you just got into it. Maybe not. Maybe you planned it out a little bit more. But I believe if I know Francis, I think he might have just jumped into it and said, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm making a little money. Let's blow this thing up. And not knowing all those other little things you've already been talking about.
For sure,
Because if you would have known all that, you probably would have been a little timid.
For sure, I think that most entrepreneurs, they have an idea. And they have like they've done research. They're not dumb, right? They've done some research, right?
I'm not saying you're reckless, but
right. Once you get to the cliff, you can do all the research in the world, but you still got to jump off the cliff, or else you'll never actually do it. Like, do you never get over that feeling? Even right now, if I was to sign a lease right now in a new unit, I would still be like, oh, God, well, I hope this works. I've done a million of them, right? But
it always works out. How many times has it not worked out for you?
I mean, I'm still alive, so
exactly. That's what I mean. How many times has a worst case scenario happened for you?
A couple times. I mean,
I can't think of personally. Now, again, you're making risk more frequent with these properties, but in life, how many times has a worst case scenario ever happened to you? Right. Usually, it might be bad, but is it? But
it's not the worst case.
It's not the worst case.
Yeah.
And if it's bad, and maybe it could be real bad, because I've had some real bad shit happen. But you always end up figuring out.
Exactly.
I mean, what
you just figure it out.
Like fucking fall over.
That's the thing, bro. I think entrepreneurs, you just have that figure it out mentality. Well, I don't know, but I'm still alive now, so I guess I'll figure it out. And dude, I'll tell you this. I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. I was like, beforehand, I was like, anyone can be an entrepreneur. I mean, we're in the U.S. You have more opportunity now than ever before to build, to get out of the rat race or whatever and build your own thing, right? I redacted that thought.
What do you say?
Not anyone can do it.
That's true.
Because when shit hits the fan, I don't know if I'm come on, when shit hits the fan, you have to figure it out. You cannot break down, or else one, the people that are depending on you their lives are going to be messed up.
Correct.
But then also all the work that you've done, everything that you've put into this, it's all for nothing. Like you got to persevere through all the hard stuff that happens.
That is a spot on, because when things get tight with stuff, or when they not go the way you need it to go, there are people that there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be that person that solves those problems and is that guy in that situation, right? There's no reason for that. There's always a reason for people like that, right? For those people to lean on, okay? And I heard it. Cardone was talking, do you listen to Grant Cardone a lot?
Yeah, I don't listen to him a lot, but
I like Grant Cardone a lot. Yeah. But Cardone talks about how he goes broke twice a year. He tries to go broke twice a year. Now, what does that actually mean? Who really knows?
Yeah.
I doubt he takes out all of his money out of his accounts and goes completely broke. But the concept is, if you go broke, if you have nothing else backing you, there's going to be some people that just fold and be like, oh, I'm done. I don't know. And there's going to be other people who say, I'm motivated than ever. Because now I got to get the freak out of this hole.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And at a young entrepreneur, I feel like you broke. I mean, you maybe not broke, but you have your back against the wall, and there's no other way to do it other than just to continue to go. And if you let off the pedal, you'll get swallowed up.
No, you're right, dude. The correct term is broke, because you're starting the business. You don't really have it. Dude, I'll tell you.
Maybe I'm talking about myself. I don't know. But I'm like, dude.
I'm right there with you.
God, dude. Like, there's times because if you have, let's say you have 100,000 sitting in your bank account, or maybe it's 500 for a person, maybe it's $1 million, whatever it is, you get to feel a little cozy. You know, like, I don't need to do this. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if you're broke as shit every single day in your mind, you're like, I gotta work my ass off today to pay my bill for tomorrow.
Facts. No, for sure, bro. I've done it now. I'm 29, and I've already gotten lazy and complacent sometimes. I'm like, crap.
But
I mean, I got a couple of units, but like I need to pick it up. Like
this is all, and I'm gonna let you talk here. But this is all kind of going back because I think, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think that's probably where you got when you were here in KC, and you were like, "Man, I'm seeing this. I'm kind of getting complacent. I need to get the fuck out of here because I got to level up."
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to make a change with that. And not very many people. I could probably name less than 10 people off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And we don't even really know each other that well.
Sure, yeah.
But I bet there's only about 10 people that I know, and your name would be one of those people, if you know it or not, that would come up that I would say, okay, yeah, that guy would probably do it, and you did it.
Huh.
I mean,
nice.
At our age, because that's a scary thing, dude.
Dude, it really is. It really is. And when I went down,
kudos enough for that. I don't think in the group that we know, I don't think they give you the kudos, but I've always thought that. So go on.
I appreciate that, bro, for real. But yeah, no, it was just like that. I was like, I need to level up, and there's a drastic way to do it. Mm-hmm. And people are like, why would you go with like the rent? My rent is ridiculous, bro. And I'm like, I actually did it so that I have to make more money. If I stayed here, I would be like, well, I mean, I don't really need, like, I literally have to. If I don't, I'll be on the street, you know? So there's definitely something to be said for just jumping and pushing yourself just whenever you feel that complacency.
Yeah. And I don't want to, also, I know you can have that mindset where just keep spending all your money and you'll never happen. So there's a time where I think you create a habit where if you can continue to do that, and I don't like the whole fake it till you make it type thing. It's more so just getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And what I was going to say with this is like with the whole captive stuff is like we're involved with some other guys that are, bigger brokers and they've been doing it a long time. Mm-hmm. I think we've done very well. We've had a lot of success here at the agency. Like it has gone better than planned. There's been its ups and downs. It's sucked. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been sucked, But at the end of the day, when we get on some Zoom calls with these guys and they're freaking doing the things that they're doing, I'm like, goodness gracious, man, like we are a little bitty fish in this pond right now.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Like I love just sitting there just saying like, man, I don't know. What do you think? And then I can form my own opinion still. But I love being able to be the dumbest mofo with the office.
Facts. Dude, I tell you what, I think that comes with maturity too, though.
Correct.
Because it took me a while to be able to digest people doing much better around me and not feel like any kind of like intimidation or like really any kind of like, oh man, I can't believe I'm not there. Not even intimidation, more like down on myself. Like, he's 27 and he's got 50 properties. I can't believe he's able to. Everybody's on their own journey.
And I think,
that's it. That's like it starts and stops there.
I'll hit with an ego. I don't know if it's about the intimidation part. I think that's good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I get in other front of people, if I'm intimidated, there's a couple clients that I have, and dude, I can handle any problem that I think of with this whole office, and I feel like good with it. But there could be 2 or 3 people that call, and I'm just like, yes, hello, I'll get it taken care of. And I'm just like, I'm not me. And it's just because those guys they're doing a lot. Yeah. They're doing a lot. And I'm like, I don't understand. So I don't know if I think being intimidated is okay.
Yeah.
It's how to handle that. Now, at some point, you got to.
What you do with it.
You got to get rid of that because you need to be sitting at that table and build some credibility up with that guy.
Right.
You also don't need to act like you know more than what you really know.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't think there's a problem with that. And I maybe talking on myself, like maybe at a younger age, because I do know what you're talking about, it's almost like an ego, like kind of getting pissed off at yourself that you're not there, and almost not giving that guy the respect or person that they might need.
Yeah, you almost resent them for
exactly because they are doing better.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think there's a fine line between respecting and not bowing down.
Yeah,
because you don't want to bow down.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. It's and that's exactly what it's like. I think with maturity you realize that. 1, you've worked hard to get to where you are. So you're on your own journey. Mm-hmm. 2, you definitely need to have some respect for people who have been ahead of you because you can learn a lot from them. But 3, you need to make sure that you know who you are in that space.
Correct.
Yes, maybe you have a bigger business than me or whatnot, but I know what I bring to the table, and that's it.
Correct. And that's exactly right. Like, knowing that you have value at this table.
Yeah.
Are you the top guy at the table? Absolutely not.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be. And if you are, you're at the wrong
You're at the wrong table.
You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because but there's a trend, but to have that all, and But I think the main thing is to still have the confidence to know that you deserve to be at this table.
Yeah.
That's a huge part.
Right.
I don't know, bro. I think that's for like we never really talked about all that, but I just think that that's a big thing that you've done.
I appreciate that, bro. I really do.
That's scarier than anything I've done.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, even just starting a business is scary. Right. So
but you moved out of the.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's there's a reason people don't just do it. Like just up and leave. Like it's very nice to be home where all your friends are and you know your routine. Like I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. I haven't really told anybody like the story of my first year.
Yeah, dude, I'm intrigued.
Dude,
because me and Francis have seen some shit before, like we went to a bachelor party and a guy fucking swam across the lake in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
like,
right. That was.
I mean, our environments that we're with, because you're a DJ, bro. We're not even talk about that. But let's go on with your first two.
Yeah. No, okay. So this is how I got into the Airbnb business, right? So September 2019, I'm slacking at my job. And
what were you doing?
First off, actually, I used to sell insurance. I'll tell you.
Northwestern or Mutual?
Northwestern Mutual, back in the
Okay.
day. I wasn't doing that then, but I had a fantastic job. Convention and Visitors Bureau, okay? Kansas City, Missouri. It's called Visit KC, right? They do marketing and sales for most of the conventions that come into Kansas City. So just any National Insurance Association has a conference somewhere every year. We try to get them to do it in Kansas City.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, because then whenever they do that, they bring money to our hotels and our restaurants, and they spend money in the city, right? So that was my job. I used to be in charge of small meetings, and I just try to get people to come to the city. I worked there for 3 years. It was great, bro. You entertain clients, you show them around KC. It's sales, so like it's rewarding whenever you get your bonuses and whatnot. But about in my second year and a half or so, my boss got fired. Okay, she got fired after we had just hit like the biggest sales goal we'd ever had in our lives, and because we had a new CEO, and obviously he's a new guy, he's gonna bring in his people. So for no fault of her own, really, she got fired, right? Just how the corporate America works, yeah. Also, I hit my sales goal that first quarter, and the next day I came in to work and I had just as much work to do. And that's when it really clicked in my mind. That's when it was like, oh shoot, like I'll just be doing this forever. We're not working towards an end point. It's just work for work's sake.
And let me ask you this. You probably worked your ass off doing that.
I mean, I worked, yeah.
I mean, right? I mean,
yeah.
Because what I'm saying here is that a lot of the times when you have someone in, like yourself, you probably took a lot of pride in how well you did at your job, right?
Yeah.
And there's other people out there that are not, like what you said before, not everybody can be an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
But there's other people that are really good at their job.
Yeah.
But what do they not have? They don't take that jump.
The jump off the cliff risk.
They just sit there and overanalyze it all and say, well, what if this happens? Those people, if they could just have your type of mindset, or my mind, dude, I'm dropped out of college, went to a full semester.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole blah, 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 blah stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't think I'm very intelligent at all.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
I think let's not go there, Francis. But let's say you're pretty smart.
I don't know. Let's not go there.
So you have a look, and I know you think I'm talking you up here, but you still have. You went to school. You finished school. You did all these things. Which makes you just like everybody else, but you fucking took the jump. So anyways, keep going.
Yes. Okay. So I'm just saying that because those are the two catalysts that really made me be like kind of an entrepreneur, right? So for the next about 6 months, this is my performance over the next 6 months. I was like, dude, like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
Like, and so I end up getting fired, right? I get fired September, and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do next?
You got fired?
Yes, I got fired.
Oh,
yes,
man,
for my full-time
awesome.
job.
Okay,
yeah,
go on. I've never been fired.
Yeah, well,
so maybe I am smart.
Maybe you are.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Going.
Well, so yeah, I get fired. Okay, and I'm like, gosh, what am I gonna do now? I was still DJing at the time, so I was like, I got some DJ gigs. That'll kind of hold me over. I've got some savings. So for the next couple of months, I just kind of was in limbo, looking for opportunities, X, Y, Z. The girl I was dating at the time mentioned this Airbnb arbitrage opportunity, right?
What
and I
year
was
was
like,
this? What year was
2019 still,
Okay.
right? This is fall 2019. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll look into it. I kind of blew her off, actually. But then I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something that I can do. So I ended up looking into it. I researched for 2 weeks. I watched every video on Airbnb arbitrage there is. YouTube University, baby. Okay? And I was like, I think I can do this. So I listed my current apartment that I was in on Airbnb for a couple weeks just to test it out, see if it works, right? And I got booked. I was like, this will work. So I called every apartment in the city. Okay.
I remember this because I think I had just bought that property in Arizona.
Yeah.
At that time.
That might have been when we went on the Vegas trip.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, go on.
No, you're good. So I call every apartment in the city. I finally get one that's like, okay, we'll do this, right? I lease it, get my first Airbnb by December 2019. Now, here's what I haven't told you yet, is that I was running out of money, right? I had some other stuff that I had to pay for, and I had used all my savings. And I didn't have just like $5,000 to just spend on furniture and stuff. So I liquidated my 401k to get my first two Airbnbs going, okay? And I'd only been working for a few years, so it had
It's
about
not
11.
like you had $50 million.
Exactly.
Even like $20,000 maybe.
I had $11,000 in there,
say.
and it was a Roth, so I'd already paid the taxes on it. So I was like, whatever. So I liquidate my 401k, get my first Airbnb, right? And I'm like, dude, this is making good money. If I can get 3 of these, I'll be cool, right? I won't be like Mr. Millionaire, but I'll at least be
Paying my bills.
I won't be on the street, right?
My customers will have they had nicer places than me.
Exactly, bro. I'll be cool, right? So I'm like, 3 Airbnbs, that's all I need. So I call again, and then I get another Airbnb property. Fast forward to March, all right? Because I was like, I need to get 3. This is March 2020, all right? You know where I'm going with this, okay? So I liquidate my 401k. I get my first 3 Airbnbs. I'm like, if I can just make it to March, I'm good to go. Savings, done. Credit cards, maxed out. I get to March, I've got 3 running Airbnbs, bro. They're running booked, calendar all the way out. DJ gigs, booked. All like my son, I'm like, dude, I'm not just gonna make it. Like, I'm about to be chilling this summer. Like, everything's cool, bro. I made it. I got fired from my job and I made it, right? March 15th, lockdown. This is March 2020.
COVID.
I get an email on Sunday evening, March 15th. I think March 15th or 16th. I get an email, cancel reservation. I'm like, oh shit, man, this COVID thing is really cancel reservation, cancel reservation, cancel reservation, cancel reservation. My DJ gigs, event canceled, I'm like, bro, what?
You're like, I got fucking 10 houses or 3 houses.
Dude.
3 rents, because...
Drake, when I tell you, I literally cried the next day. Bro. After looking at the number of canceled reservations and the number of canceled DJ gigs that I had, I was like...
I forgot all about that.
I just worked my ass off for 6 months to get to these 3 Airbnbs running. And then this just random thing happens and everything's gone, right? So I worked out some deals and we were able to get through it. Obviously, I'm still in business.
What kind of deal did you work out? I'm intrigued. I wish I would have asked this at the beginning because I forgot about that.
Dude, no, you're good. But it was like life-changingly stressful in that, like the March and April.
Bro.
So for one of the units, my landlord was really nice, and he let me pass on rent for 1 month, and then he cut my rent in half for the next 2 months, and then just kind of added it to the following months after that, right? One of them, we actually just shut down the apartment for a month, and then one of them, I put a long-term tenant in there, so carried it through the month, and then I got a temp job, staffing nurses for a staffing agency. It was nights. So for the whole month, I worked nights.
See, bro, that's the thing. Like, dude,
just cover my bills. Like,
that's so awesome. That is a story right there.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, because I remember that because we had just got our Airbnb. We'd had it for a year.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, that's in our scenario. I mean, that was like another mortgage.
Yeah.
And,
right.
I think. Michaela would have been working, but anyways, dude, I remember all these bookings started canceling, and I remember Same thing. I'm like, oh, this. Honestly, I thought this damn COVID.
This
This
ain't
is stupid. There's no way they're gonna shut down this damn city.
I know.
Like, I was all optimistic. You know,
Exactly.
that's not gonna happen. They're just stupid. You know, whatever. Blame it on 3 bookings canceled. Yeah, they're all.
Right.
They'll get rebooked.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, bam, all of them gone. I'm like,
and then what happened? Airbnb changed the regulation.
Yeah.
And gave everyone 100% refund.
I'm like, this is what I thought. I go, oh, I got strict cancellation. Like,
Exactly,
they ain't gonna
bro.
get their money, and everybody's giving me shit. They're like, dude, if you had, I'm like, no. If I book something, I never get money back.
Exactly.
No, they ain't getting their money.
Oh, dude. The number of guests that we got into an email fight with about
COVID.
like.
I got COVID.
Yeah.
So then what you said, so Airbnb, so everybody knows. So I don't know how it was with yours, but on ours, we have a very strict cancellation policy where if they cancel within X amount of time, they don't get anything.
Yeah.
And
Same.
that's just the real world that we live
Same,
in.
yeah.
I don't care because guess what? I don't, because the thing is that we run a business and I care about people, but not in this scenario. Because the thing is people book these things out months in advance. In my scenario,
Yeah.
Your scenario is different. So you're an asshole, actually. But
No, they.
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But then Airbnb says it doesn't matter what your cancellation policy is. We're giving everybody their money
100%,
back.
yeah.
Bam, books are gone.
I'm like, well, what about me?
Yeah.
Like, I got expenses.
I got expenses, and then we're going into the slowest time in the world.
Yeah,
for
right, in Arizona, yeah.
And it's 155 degrees outside.
Right.
No one's gonna stay in our place. Bro, that is funny. I got lucky with that because I had somebody had a house fire. It was the biggest. I told you about this.
Yeah, you did.
So it was the biggest stressful time, and I can't even imagine your situation because you did not have this. I was so stressed, and then bam, I got a booking. Someone had a house fire, and guess what?
Yeah.
They couldn't get in there because COVID. They couldn't redo their house because COVID was going on.
Oh, so they ended up staying for a long time.
I made more
Dude,
money.
yeah,
in
you
COVID.
got lucky as you got
a blessing.
so lucky.
It just happened.
Yeah.
It works out.
That's awesome.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
that was it. I actually, God, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
It ended up I ended up losing so much money, but I ended up making way more than I lost because I had top dollar pricing throughout the summer.
Yeah.
For 5 months.
Yeah.
I made more money.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. Also, the post-COVID summer was, I'm not even talking about 2021. I'm talking about after people realize that, you can still do stuff. You just got to wash your hands and not talk to people 2 feet away from their face. Mm-hmm. Then, you can the local travel really started blowing up, and especially with Kansas City as a regional market. Yep. So people were coming into town. They were supposed to go to Colorado, but now they're like, well, we'll just go to Kansas City for
let's go.
Whatever.
Get out of this house.
Yeah. So we ended up doing very well from about June, July, maybe. Yeah, about July, August, September, the second half of the summer.
Dude, I forgot about that.
And the rest of that year. So yeah, dude, the first year was I was like, I can't believe this is happening, bro.
Bro, to go back on that whole worst case scenario type situation.
That is the worst case scenario. Yeah.
I think we end this podcast with that.
Dude, yeah.
No, dude, that's good. No, man, we've been at it we can keep going.
Oh, is it an hour? Or?
It's been an hour.
We I'm okay.
I'm keep going.
I can probably do 10 more minutes.
What else? Give us something else. Fun.
Another story? Mm-hmm. Were you gonna milk me for my stories? Yeah, actually, okay, I got a good one. All right, so, okay, I had three apartments. Okay. I had 3 apartments in one building in the Midtown KC.
Okay.
All right, my renewal is coming up, but they're on different schedules, right? So 2 of them are renewing in March, and one of them was renewing in I think at the end of December.
Okay.
And the landlord, he mentioned to me, he's like, hey, let's do month to month on your one property until March, and then we'll just renew all 3 of them at the same time. I'm like, okay, it's not suspicious. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but sure, it's not suspicious.
Okay.
It's fine. So I said, sure. He then lets us know that the building is being sold. They're selling the building. Now, Airbnb arbitrage is a landlord-preferred deal.
Correct. Yep.
If you switch to landlord, your new landlord may not be favorable, right? So I know that, obviously. So I'm like, okay, well, get me in the room with these new landlords, because obviously you guys they had 6. I think they had other tenants in there that were doing arbitrage. Obviously you guys they assured me, well, we've worked on it. We've told them they're okay with it. They've talked to their lawyers. Everything should be fine. It's not a big deal. I'm like, okay, cool. Then let me renew. Let me go ahead and renew my leases right now. I want to renew my leases for another 2 years or another year and a half. They're like, well, we'll just wait on the renewal until March, until whenever you're. I'm like, no, why would no landlord wants to wait on the renewal? Okay, I want to renew
Something's
right
going
now.
on.
Exactly, right? So I go back and forth with them. They won't tell me who they're selling the property to, right? And so I go back and forth with them. They're like, okay, if we finally forward to March, okay. They've assured me multiple times that everything's going to be fine. It's okay. Mm-hmm. They sell the property. They give me the contact of the new owner. I call the owner. I'm like, hey, I'm the one who's got 3 Airbnbs here, XYZ. Just wanted to check in on my renewal. I'm like, yeah, we've talked with our lawyers. And since our loan provider is Sally Mae, they're not going to, they don't want short-term rentals in the property. And so we can't get a loan unless we evict all of our short-term rentals. So you have 30 days to leave the property. I said, 30 days. I got bookings in June, bro. What do you mean 30 days to leave the property?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What does that look like?
Yeah, right? So that's what I did. I called every apartment complex in the city again. And I moved 3, I found one, and I moved 3 apartments from that unit to the new building, which was fortunately maybe about 6 blocks from the old building. Most of those reservations actually transferred over, right? So like most of it, I was like, hey, we've had a thing. This apartment's no longer available. We do have another apartment. All we have to do is move your reservation. Most of them did. Some of them are like, no, we want the other one. Cancel our reservation. I was like, okay, that's fine. So long story short, I ended up moving the 3 apartments, but only because the fucking sneezy landlord knew that the new owners were not going to be favorable for the Airbnbs, and so he just waited on it. He just wanted to sell it and it be occupied and give them the option of whether or not they wanted to keep them or
appraise it out more and all that.
Exactly, because they were occupied. I mean, there was 6 Airbnbs there. They were occupied. So I was like, dude, like, what is? He didn't even have to do that. All he had to do was just tell me, just be upfront, like
being.
Exactly, right. So he kind of screwed me, but we ended up, figuring it out, and I'm getting actually one more at the new apartment that
I was gonna say, it goes
I moved over to.
What do? You go into basically
figure it out mode, right? Mm-hmm. That's literally all entrepreneurship is. Yep. Just figure it out.
And honestly, whenever I said that, what about the worst case scenario? How many times that happened? You kind of looked at me weird. I'm like, well, and then now I understand, like, what's the worst case scenarios, dude? I'm like, because Francis is looking at me like, man, there's been some worst case scenarios, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, last
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a question for you, advice, opinion. What do you think of owning an apartment complex?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe 20 units, okay? And you have maybe 25, maybe it's either a 75-25 split, meaning 75 of those units are rented out as short-term rentals, and the other 25 are long-term.
Yeah.
To kind of maybe, maybe you have the long-term rentals paying your payment on that bad
boy.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the other is just strict cash.
Right. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Because that is what we are wanting to really, like, that's our next, that will be probably our next thing, is buying a big complex, because one, it's commercially rated.
Yeah, right.
Right? So is there any protocols with that?
Yeah, that's gonna be my first question will be, where are you doing it? Because legislations is the first hurdle you're gonna have to jump over. In Kansas City, any one apartment building can only have 25% of it be a short-term rental. Okay. So you couldn't have more than whatever 25% of whatever your number is.
So you can have 75% long-term, the other 25 in Kansas City.
In Kansas City, yes.
So do people do that? Is that a thing that a lot of guys do?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so all the apartments that I arbitrage, the buildings aren't allowed to have. They're only allowed to have a certain number. Right, okay. So like at some of them I'm capped out. I can't get any more. The building can't do any more. And also they make it to where any one host can only have 4 Airbnbs in one building.
Well, what I'm saying though is that if you own the building, do you get to make your own rules with that?
I mean, you still have
if the city allows it, I guess.
If the city allowed it, then yeah, you would be able to do whatever you wanted. The other thing with that would be, like, you're looking to really brand it as like some sort of I don't want to say like hotel, but like hotel-like experience. Like if you're creating one building with this many units, you're gonna get a lot of cookie cutter units in there. So if you just throw them on Airbnb, you're not providing a unique product. So if you branded the building as like, this is the downtown KC stay away, whatever, right? And we have 10 apartments in here, stay at one of our apartments, and you get this feel with the whole building, and that's like kind of what the brand is. I mean, yeah, I can manage it for you for sure. So yeah, you definitely have to add some branding component to it. But you could absolutely do that. One of the buildings I
mean, do you think that's a good idea, personally? I mean, like
I do, yeah.
I think because I say that because I don't like having just, our place in Arizona is a single family house, and it does wonderful. But I would ideally like to have a fourplex or something like that where, there's other sources of income coming from that one. Yeah, versus if that one's not getting rented out, I know it just got too hot. Oh. But we'll finish it up.
Is it going to save it?
Yeah, it'll save everything. The recording will, so it'll just be on me on the video. But it'll just be, it just has one income, right? So after that, if that source of income is gone, it's that house is not producing anything. Yeah. So that's why I thought the multifamily would, from a short-term standpoint, could be really cool.
Yeah,
but
for sure. I like the idea. I mean, I'm a fan of having like a miniature hotel kind of, because again, you get to brand the whole thing and you can create an experience around it. But you might just look at what could be more profitable than that. Because I mean, truly, if you got one beach close,
correct,
5-bedroom property, you literally could be bringing in the same cash flow as if you got a bunch of apartments, That's true. So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Francis, dude, it's been fun.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
It's been great.
Yeah, this has been
Thanks
good.
for having me, bro.
All right, everybody, yellow color glasses, Francis Darko,
yes, sir.
KC host. Check out the link.
Yes.
Let's give him some feedback, or give him some not feedback. No, all good feedback is all we need.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to stay in KC, let's go directly to KC
yes,
host and
book your KChost.com.
Okay. All right. Over and out.
Peace.
Bye.